This is VOA News. I'm Marissa Melton. Well, U.S. President Donald Trump insists he's bringing Americans home from endless wars in the Mideast. His Pentagon chief says all U.S. troops leaving Syria will go to western Iraq. AP correspondent Shelley Adler has more.
According to President Trump earlier this month, when he announced plans for troops in Syria,
we have to bring our people back home. And frankly, our great soldiers have been talking about this on the campaign. You go back 3 years ago and more, and you watch the speeches. We want to bring our soldiers back home. These are the endless wars, and that's what we're doing.
But Defense Secretary Mark Esper says those troops will head to western Iraq for two missions.
One is to help defend Iraq, and two is to perform a counter-ISIS mission as we sort through the next steps.
I'm Shelley Adler.
Hong Kong protesters flooded the city's streets on Sunday in defiance of a ban by the authorities on their march. VOA's Anita Powell was on the streets.
If you ask people here, they will note that the police who characteristically warn people before they're going to either fire tear gas or water cannon have been very quick to transition from warning to action. That's what Hong Kongers are saying, at least to us. But they are holding up warning signs, and they are adequately, I think, or they are warning people. But, yeah, there were many incidences of tear gas.
This is the latest chapter in unrest that has disrupted life in the financial hub since early June. Tens of thousands of Lebanese protesters gathered Sunday in major cities and towns for the largest anti-government protests yet in 4 days of demonstrations. The unrest erupted after the government proposed new taxes, part of stringent austerity measures amid a growing economic crisis. This is VOA News. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson faces a frenzied week of activity in Parliament and possibly in the courts as he tries to woo rebellious lawmakers in time to meet the October 31st Brexit deadline. AP correspondent Ben Thomas has that story.
The question is that Amendment A be made.
A special Saturday session of Parliament failed to even produce a vote on a renegotiated Brexit deal, putting it off until Parliament passes a plan for how Brexit will be carried out. Prime Minister Boris Johnson has sent a letter to European Union leaders requesting to delay Britain's exit from the EU, as he was required by law, but he did not sign it, sending a second signed letter indicating he doesn't favor another extension to Brexit. That prompted this reaction from Labour MP John McDonnell.
He's behaving a bit like a sport brat. Parliament made a decision. He should abide by it.
It's all threatening to add fresh court action to the Brexit mix. I'm Ben Thomas.
In a series of tweets Saturday night, U.S. President Donald Trump said he is canceling plans to hold the next G7 summit at a golf resort that he owns in Miami, Florida. Earlier this week, the president had confirmed plans to hold the summit at the Trump National Doral. He blamed the media and Democrats for opposing the Doral site. President Trump's acting chief of staff, Mick Mulvaney, explained on Fox News Sunday that the president and his staff were not expecting that selection of his own resort to be so controversial.
And I honestly think what you saw in the tweet was real. The president isn't one for holding back his feelings and his emotions about something. He was honestly surprised at the level of pushback. At the end of the day, he still considers himself to be in the hospitality business, and he saw an opportunity to take the biggest leaders from around the world, and he wanted to put on the absolute best show, the best visit that he possibly could, and he was very comfortable doing that at Doral. And I think we were all surprised at the level of pushback.
In the U.S. states of New Hampshire and Massachusetts, historic-looking plaques are popping up, imagining the effects of climate change that a future generation could see. AP correspondent Julie Walker.
The plaques are written from the perspective of someone in the 22nd century looking back. They imagine events like a boathouse destroyed in a storm on September 24th, 2032, or a heat-inspired tick outbreak on June 8th, 2044. They're all part of a climate change awareness campaign by Northeastern University professor Thomas Starr.
By doing this, it kind of plays on people's imaginations in a way that's a little more engaging.
The Remembrance of Climate Futures project has been installed in Durham, New Hampshire and Essex, Massachusetts. It will also go to Cambridge, Massachusetts. I'm Julie Walker.
And I'm Marissa Melton. You're listening to VOA News.